Welcome to another episode of Not for the Weak Minded. Planck satellite confirms WMAP or WMAP findings. Universe is not Copernican. Shall I read that again? Planck satellite confirms WMAP findings. Universe is not Copernican. One more time. Planck satellite confirms WMAP findings. Universe is not Copernican. So heliocentrism is a lie. The globe Earth is a lie. And they're going to carry on with this charade because it's about perception, deception, control, and an agenda that's been centuries in the making. Why they lie? Well, it's to hide the knowledge of creation, while they use it against us all. So let's read it. The modern world is faced with the breach of a far-reaching paradigm. Now, if you've been following me, it's not going to be new, this article or articles like it, where I've already showed you that they've labelled the sacred alignment of the Earth being at the centre of the known universe, the axis of evil. Most cosmologists will not admit it publicly, but perhaps over a beer they would tell you what is happening. Observations over the last 50 years, culminating with the Planck satellite results, March 2013, set modern science on a counter-revolution leading closer to ideas formed 500 years ago. Today's cosmology is based on two broad principles: the Copernican principle, we are not in a special place in the universe, and the cosmological principle, the Copernican principle plus isotropy, the view from anywhere in the universe looks about the same, starting with early studies of the cosmic microwave background, and in recent years culminating with results from the COBE, then the WMAP satellites. Scientists were faced with a signal at the largest scales of the universe, a signal that pointed right back at us, indicating that we are in a special place in the universe. Without getting overly technical, the Copernican and cosmological principles require that any variation in radiation from the CMB be more or less randomly distributed throughout the universe, especially on large scales. Results from the WMAP satellite early 2000s indicated that when looking at large scales of the universe, the noise could be partitioned into hot and cold sections, and this partitioning is aligned with our ecliptic plane and equinoxes. This partitioning and alignment resulted in an axis through the universe which scientists dubbed the axis of evil because of the damage it does to every single thing that the Jesuits have and the Templars and the Freemasons and the Illuminati have built over the last 500 years. The axis is aligned to us, Lawrence Krauss commented in 2005. So when you start looking at all the things on the telly and realise that it's CGI rubbish, also, there is software online that anyone can use to check whether it's photoshopped or it's a real image. So go online, go click find the image of a virus and go and see if it's photoshopped. I'm telling you it is. What about planets? Yep. Everything else to do with space? Yeah. It's all deception, and their lies have been revealed. Right? It's only people that refuse these facts that will carry on believing the globe Earth model, which we're going to talk about, right, throughout this entire video. So, but when you look at the cosmic microwave background map, you also see that the structure that is observed is in fact, in a weird way, correlated with the plane of the Earth around the Sun. is this Copernicus coming back to haunt us? That's crazy. We're looking at the whole universe. There's no way there should be a correlation of structure with our motion of the Earth around the sun. Well, the sun's local, which goes around a stationary Earth, right? Everything works around us because it's mathematically been using the models, right, of a stationary Earth. So there are answers, right, to everything. Also, these things never go to space, do they? But they definitely can do things in low Earth orbit to, and this is to do with sound, using sound to map the universe, right? Which they say, by the way, doesn't travel in an ether. And yet, space is water, and therefore it must. Yeah? Because it's not a vacuum. So it looks like we're at the center of the universe. Most scientists brush the observation off as a fluke of some type, and many theories were created to explain it away. Many awaited the Planck mission. The Planck satellite was looked upon as referee for those unexpected and unwelcomed results. The Planck satellite used different sensor technology and improved scanning pattern to map the cosmic microwave background radiation. In March 2013, Planck reported back and in fact verified the presence of the signal in even higher definition than before. And we've showed you this, and you'll see it at the end if you stick with me. There are cosmologists and scientists who recognize the signal for what it is, and recent articles have started talking about the need for some new physics to explain the results. Well, they don't need they don't need to create anything, which they've already done, which they will. They will create a complete and utter more nonsense when the answers are already out there, and that has to do with toroidal fields, magnetic, electric universe, etc. Chakras. As above, water and space, as above, so below, sonoluminescence, right, sound and light. There are cosmologists and scientists. Oh wait, I've read that bit, sorry. New physics. Even the Planck mission website, Professor whatever, states, our ultimate goal would be to construct a new model that predicts the anomalies and links them together. But these are early days so far. We don't know whether this is possible and what type of new physics might be needed. And that is exciting. Yeah, because they get more money, right? You're going to throw more money at these projects to solve the most... when they already know the answer. They already know. They're just liars. Other observations have independently validated the axis of evil in recent years, and this adds credibility to the CMB observations. These observations include galaxy rotational alignments to a tiny part of the universe, which is not forever expanding. And there's 7 of them, and that's going to come back to more discussions later about the number 7, the importance of the number 7. And how that relates to us and space. Perhaps a double-domed construction? Maybe bigger? Let's just... So the galaxy rotation alignments to our tiny part of the universe. Very recent reports include observations of alignment between sky distributions of powerful extended quasars and some other subclass of radio galaxies, and a plane passing through the 2 equinoxes and the North Celestial Pole, also an anisotropy of cosmic acceleration in Union 2 type I supernova. You know, a lot of this stuff's nonsense, right? As well. There are things out there, yeah, lights, right? The wandering stars is lights. So the question is, what will modern science do now? Will they invent additional parameters to keep the current theories alive? Yes. In addition to those already added, dark matter, dark energy, redshift as expansion, Big Bang inflation, or will they consider the possibility that we are in a special place as observations clearly indicate, And I guarantee the latter will be the case, won't it? As they carry on belligerently telling us one thing and doing the opposite. Should we look at the responses? Things sure cleared up when at 52 I finally realised there is a God. Try to accept it. What can it hurt? Yeah. This still does not prove that divide God created the earth. Since everything is possible with God, he would not need any special conditions or situations, certainly not ones that strictly follow physics laws. Well, we know, obviously, if you study quantum physics, that, again, everything we've been told is a lie. It doesn't work the way they've sold us. So Copernican model is dead. Can you get that, please? Here we go. We're going to get into Mount Muru. We're also getting into the celestial alignments, the Earth, sacred geometry, and we're going to try and put it all together. How everything operates, toroidal fields. So this is an article about Mount Muru. Is there a magnetic mountain at the North Pole? And it talks about history, and we're going to go into this more with maps and stuff shortly. So we don't need to go into it. We're just going to read the conclusion and that bit there, right above it. Oh, come on, stop doing that. Anyway, it says at the top, might actually be a giant magnetic mountain at the North Pole, surrounded by 4 islands separated by great rivers. So before we carry on, I'm going to go to Google Earth. Sorry, my computer's got a lot of stuff going on. It will get there. What it loads. So the magnetic North Pole has everything to do with understanding the alignment, right? As well. So let's read this. It's really slow. Please be patient. What I was going to show you on Google Earth was there's no ice. They don't depict any ice on the map, right? And yeah, I'm going to show you obviously in a minute some pictures, which clearly show you like what they say is, you know, ice caps and it's just all ice, right? Here we go. There. All this is meant to be just ice, right? But they don't depict it on the Google Earth application. That should make you question, right? Because none of what you see in this model is real. You know? Elements of it is, yes. It's not a globe, is it? When I've just showed you the Copernican model sucks. It doesn't fit observations and actual scientific evidence. Right? So where's the ice? Again, you know, yeah, and yet this is all CGI, just cover up. You know, you can go back in time and see maps. We're going to go look at maps now anyway. My point is, here, there's no ice depicted. You know, they're meant to go through here with icebreakers and same in the south, right? Where's the ice? Do you see this is a large ship as well here, I reckon. That's a giant ship. Let's go back to the article. So just to recap, we have an ancient account of a central mountain at the North Pole and very much more recent European maps describing in great detail a central magnetic mountain surrounded by four almost symmetrical islands. We have Olaf Janssen supporting these claims, and we have recent cosmological research in the form of the electric universe adding further validity. Said that wrong. Validity. There is one thing, however. Lodestone mountains and symmetrically spaced islands are all good and well, but to truly believe that this could be a real place, it does need some type of geological explanation. I mean, nothing like this exists in the known world. Natural geological processes aren't exactly concerned with symmetry, so how could this all have formed? Exactly. It was created, like everything in this world, which we have clearly took for granted, which is still full of abundance, really. We're just divided, aren't we? Taking everything into account and enslaved by money. The electric universe concept of the sky mountain, an electrical phenomena, and the physical site of Mount Muru need not be mutually exclusive. Imagine, if you will, this golden age. Planets slowly shift into alignment and enormous bands of electricity begin to discharge between the heavenly bodies. Right? The stars determine our destiny, and this has to do with space-time. And that means that you need a new concept of it to do with how the constellations move around us, right? Because they're the fixed stars, as it's mentioned in literature. And this has to understand. Well, we'll go for it right now. We'll just go for this. So this is my one. I did using Google Earth coordinate positions, and I mapped it myself. And this is the sun, and according to the globe Earth model, mathematics. This is the globe Earth model. This is also the Gleason map. It's also the equal distance projection, right? Flat Earth map. Engineered, I would say, with levels. So you've seen them. So I'm going to show you some probably the same blueprints that you've all seen, apart from one, but I've just took them with a different filter. It's not the best one, but it's the only thing here. I did draw this a while back, and if we were to just zoom in a minute, imagine now this is a giant tree, okay, tree stump, and all this has been leveled out. Like it's like level, so the rivers come through here, and then they'll take the source, and it will create a lake here or whatever, you know what I mean. And then the next one will come down here, go through here, because this is quite possibly what we're living on, right? Which got flooded. So let's zoom out. Right, that's a theory. So this one here is the new one you've not seen. You'll see it better in a minute. I thought the filter brings it out, So these are all my blueprints using the perfect circle, trying to express individually, each one, the mechanisms that govern our existence. So this is a new one, and this is all about perpetual motion. It's understanding that we live in a frequency-based reality, and that there is somehow technologies involved. So Mount Muru, the magnetic mountain at the center of the earth. My personal opinion is there's 7 realms, and we're going to get into a blueprint of that. And then this is the same principle, and there's a positive and a negative charge, good and bad, duality, yin and yang, which basically permeate the entire universe, which is why this is how things work, hot and cold. Because you've got to imagine the Earth inside. Let's say this bit, what we know, there's more land outside of it, and then there's space, right? So without the perfect circle, you can't design a pyramid blueprint. And without the pyramids, we wouldn't exist either, because they're part of bringing in energies from the universe, which is, again, I'll reiterate, not forever expanding, which cycles around a stationary Earth, of which we are at its center. There's more mysteries than you can imagine. But from the beginning of this, let's say, section of my life where I'm trying to use sacred geometry, a lot of things are falling into place. And I think I have got the ability with these to show you how things really work. I know there's people out there that have computerized these things, and we're all working at this together. So I'll probably share that information, in due course. But I thought I'd do it myself, showing you my blueprints. Double dome construction, perhaps. And this one here, this is one I've did. It's 90 by 90, right? And it's all these blueprints are done by using the power of this, they call power 3, 6, and 9, but it's just 30, 60, 90, and 12, right? Degrees, or the 0. So this blueprint here is 1, 2. So it's 1 world, 2 world, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The center. I thought, how perfect's that? It's the number 7. Right? And I haven't had time to colour it in. And it's wrong anyway. It's more like the mandala I showed you before, where I personally believe that there is a sun at the centre of the earth, but it's a light again, right? So we got the sun that goes around us, but we've also got, there might be a light, another the sun, the light source at the centre of the earth, above us as well, and that's on a timer. Who knows? So everything really relates to technologies, and that's how I see it. So this is my map still. I have started mapping stuff. So in previous times, the other maps I've showed you, which is coming up again as well, the Monty's map. There's land coming down here, or land. So if the Copernican model goes false, what other answers is there that we need, right? So I've been trying to slowly show you the answers so that you can now understand, right? That that they've lied for one, and that that there's no doubt about it that there's the intelligent design. So here's this new one. Again, perpetual motion, magnets. Did they break creation at one point in ancient history? Did they actually break it? Did the sky fall? Right? And then you see across the earth, you've got all these giant stone balls, right? Have come out of nowhere. Now a lot of it's probably engineering, in terms of ball bearings potentially and machines. But what if they were part of the construction of this reality using stone, and or materials like meteorites, perhaps, right? And it broke. They destroyed it. You know what I mean? All the ball bearings, time stops as well. Like, can we really explain that? How there seems to be in the manuscripts I showed you, there was a picture of the winds being shut off, right? Is that going to come again? Is like where everything just comes to nothing, standstill, time, judgment, all souls? I don't know. It's things to think about, right? Not everyone's gonna get this stuff. I think these are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So this one here, motion, domes, worlds, realms, intelligent design, what if, right? Magnetic North Pole, Polaris, square and the circle, right? Because you can fit the square back in this in this circle, and that's obviously how I've been using my blueprints. Putting the square within the circle, and how that fits 30, 60, and 90 degrees as well. Obviously you can do it whatever, you know. Just showing you my blueprints, and now it's all trying to fit these together. The black sun, that's another topic. So here's the one depiction by others. I don't know who did this, just saw it on Facebook, so I took it. When you study the Gleason model, it's very similar to this in how how the sun rays are going across the earth. It's not exactly yin and yang, but it's close. Here's another one. So this is what I was talking about, the two, sun and moon. Perhaps there's a black sun, right? Spirals are in everything we see, and it's important to know for sure that it has deep level meanings to our existence. How beautiful is this? Centaurs, aliens. Mountain. Mount Muru maybe? Although that, you would imagine it to be at the center, right? All different alien beings. Angel. Dolphin. Sorts of sea creatures. Elephant. Speaking of elephants, did you see that there's a mass die-off of elephants recently? Like, seriously, and they don't even know what's killing them. Well, we know what's killing them. You know what I mean? The Zionists are killing all of creation, which is savage. Well, we think nothing of it. You know, everything's under attack. Aliens there, look, see the aliens? So, this is not my drawing, this is another example of how the stars move around us. COVID-19, it's a false flag operation to usher in a new world order. It's time we stand. That's 1. And that's just about perspective. There's another map. DNA. What can I say? Right? How important is sacred geometry to our existence? Why is it that they themselves use these same symbols, let's call it, hidden and hide it in plain sight? Because they know themselves the truth. And I say they, I mean people like this. Bill Gates. People associated with corrupt organizations and institutions that have power, influence, and money. Right? So all part of an agenda. United Nations. So it's time we all get some bravery, because first of all, the beast or the dragon, whatever you want to call it, is rising around us, right? George and the Dragon. After the abominations got washed off the face of the earth, some of them still survived. So they went and hunted them down. Bit like The Witcher. Really? The game. So these people, sacred geometry, I just told you, it's not the Star of David. This is evil and wicked. Because these people are the principalities. These people are part of why everyone believes a lie their entire life. Sad, but true. So it's important. So we've got on into that, then the magnetic North Pole. So I'm just going to whiz through a few of these now. I will leave all of them in the description box. So the North Star, Mount Muru, and Mary Magdalene. Your navel and the navel of the world. Right, next. Really want to get into it. Obviously I'm not going to record and show this for 3 hours, but the research is out there, right, for you to look at. Don't take my word for it. As I said, I'll leave the link in the description so you can see it. So this map, 1606. What do we see? Well, at the centre of the earth, got a magnetic mountain with 4 rivers flowing from it. Pretty similar. So what if this is a giant tree and it's all been engineered, and as it goes out, it slopes, right? What does it say in the Bible or in literature about the tree of the earth, tree of life? It says it spreads its veins, let's call it, roots, right, across the earth. It forms the earth. A humongous titan tree, perhaps, that's then been engineered. Living under the sea of another world? How big really is this world if that's the case? If we're just on a giant titan tree stump that's been flooded, right, and cut and then created this world under the sea of another one, right? How big? It's just, yeah, it's mind-boggling stuff, right? we got to obviously change our perception of how big the Earth is as well, because obviously that's a lie. That's based on false principles. We have to actually go, you know, work it out, because they've not added this, have they? Don't see this on Google Earth, do you? Right? So we've established already, right from the get-go, that it's not Copernican. Crikey. Okay? Yeah. It's not Copernican. So therefore, this whole entire scenario, what we're looking at now, is wrong. It's that simple, really. So what's right? Well, perhaps this. Perhaps all the other maps I've just showed you about the Earth is closer to reality than what we think. So let's look back. Hold on. Right to the beginning. Let's use this one. In this scenario, do you see how what I was trying to express maybe and that one's just flat? Okay, but you've seen others, right? You've seen the Monty one, and that I've showed you, which does show it lands beyond our own. What if it's a big ass spiral? What if it goes from like really high here to, and then it's engineered to big ass spiral? Don't like that. So that one was 1600, this one's 1606. There's a lot of detail on these maps. I'm just showing you, generalizing this. This concept of understanding that there might be more land in the north that they're hiding, and in the beyond Antarctica, which is why all nations have signed a treaty to say that they won't say any shit. They won't say nothing, you know, because it's about resources, about control, it's about, well, their lies. You got the Shetlands, and you got Friesland, Friffland, Insula, and the Faroes. Very beautiful, isn't it? These maps. We couldn't do this today. So another article, North Pole hidden land, and again there's a video about it. You know, if you're like me, you just like to watch videos and not like listen to people like me, what I'm doing right now, right? You get bored. You've got a video to watch. Plus, you know, there's a 3 hour one I've just showed you there. So this isn't about another map. No, two, the same map printed in two different articles.
This 1,000-year-old map, it is claimed, was hidden and locked away in a Japanese Buddhist temple due to the very nature of the huge secret this map depicts. It is also the reason why it was kept hidden for over 1,000 years. or least was created potentially 1,000 years ago, although the dates are very sketchy. This 1,000-year-old map shows more land beyond the Antarctica edge, was first featured in the Hawaiian Gazette, on Friday, January 11, 1907. This map is very interesting because it is very similar to the Boston map, except it shows much more land which is not visible on the Boston map, or on a...
Okay, you know what he said, 1907. So the exact same day. Pacific Commercial Advertiser, Honolulu, January 9th, 1907. Was this world map made 10 centuries ago? So that's two different papers saying the same thing. Asking the same question. Because a lot of people think this is, well, you guessed it, fake news. It's a fraud. It's a, you know, it's a hoax. But those are the same people that believe they're spinning on a Copernican model universe, right? So, yeah. Again, you can listen to the videos. I'll leave them in the description. National Geographic, published this in 2017. What a bizarre map this is. Bizarre, enormous 16th century map assembled for the first time. And we've seen this. I've showed you this. The Urbano Monti's enormous 1587 map. And you can look at this for hours upon hours upon hours. I can't zoom in, but I've showed you that Mount Muru is clearly at the centre. And there's land beyond it. There, exactly the same thing as you see on this one. I think we've been lied to. I think there's other answers. So yeah, according to Google, Robert Peary was the first US engineer who claimed to have reached the pole on the 6th of April 1909, even though there was others before him. But that's not really answering my question. So I went, just going to Google, Wikipedia, and the North Pole. And this is the type of shit you got to contend with, right? You give me bullshit like this, more bullshit like this, show you the bloody truth, right? And then give you more bullshit like this. Cracking through that ice. It's not there, is it? They don't show you on Google Earth. I'm sure there are things preventing people from going certain locations in the Earth. Because they track everything we do, right? Here you go, here's a picture. Why don't we see this on the Google Earth representation? Oh, the ice caps are melting. And yeah, they don't even bloody show you the ice caps on Google. Deception. So they're messing with creation, which is why people are getting sick, because we are intrinsically connected to nature. And when summer becomes winter all of a sudden, guess what happens? Well, our body expels all the shit that's inside us, which is why you need a detox and do a lot of stuff to not be ill today, because of all the ravaging poisons through time that we've accumulated in our bodies. Symbolism of Mount Muru. Now it's 20 pages, but I'm just going to read the first. The summit of the cosmic mountain is not only the highest point of the Earth, it is also the Earth's navel, the point of which the creation began. M. Alade was demonstrated vividly the pervasiveness of the myth of the cosmic mountain which stands at the center of the universe, constituting a framework or coordinate system for a total cosmography. With it, layers of symbolism are mutually superimposed, for it is no mere static point. It is embedded in the mythology of ascent into the sacred and the quest for the center. In Asia, it is of course Mount Muru that bears this rich load of accumulated myth and aspiration, nurtured by the development of Indian cosmology and thereafter carried far and wide with spread of Hinduism and Buddhism into most of the further corners of the Asia. Don't forget, I just read it came into Europe as well, and I'm showing you the early European maps, right? Mount Muru. Mount Muru is all too commonly believed to be derived from the ziggurats of Babylon, whose 7 tiers represented the 7 heavenly spheres and the 7 stages by which the human personality is enmeshed in the world of matter, and at its top is the door of God, Bab Ilu. Yeah, I'm not going to read anymore. If you want to read the article, you can join JSTOR. It's absolutely free to register and read 120 articles a month for nothing. Because a lot of people don't bear in mind is what this argument's been raging in the academics circle about creation and the knowledge of it for centuries, and there's a lot of information in the academic circles that proves without a shadow of a doubt we've been lied to. They just don't once something's been discovered that goes against it, it just gets put to one side and you just carry on and forget about it. You know, that's why you got thousands of out of place artifacts and things that just don't fit the narrative of what we've been told at all. That shouldn't have been there. Never mind. So there's more books. This one's Dictionary of Natural Nature Myths, Legends of the Earth, Sea and Sky. So the elephant represented the cardinal directions, and Mount Muru, the north celestial pole and the pivot of the sky. The sun and the moon, the stars and the planets therefore revolved around Muru, and the supreme deity had its throne on the summit. Indra and Brahma lived on the summit, and so did Buddha, just as Zeus and the high gods in the Greek pantheon lived on Mount Olympus. Halfway up Mount Muru, that's because that's about emulation of the gods. Halfway up Mount Muru rested the chariots of the sun, moon, and the stars. Because obviously the Greeks believed in the globe Earth model, didn't they? Clearly, they didn't think that being homos and trannies really, in some cases, was not going against creation. But Babylonians. An Indian myth explained why Muru supported the sun's chariot as well, and why the mythical mountain was golden in colour. Muru had strong connections to the sun as well as the heavenly lake Anavatapta and its waters of immortality. It was said that a magic shaft rose each morning from Anavatapta's magic waters to lift up the thrones of the sun and the moon. In myth, Shura, the sun, wanted a rest from his continuous revolutions around Muru, and he asked the mountain for permission to place the axle of his chariot on the sacred slopes. Because Muru agreed, Shura blessed the mountain, and from then on, Muru was golden like the sun. There's a golden mountain. This has to do with pyramids, right? Ziggurats, pyramids. Huge ones, in fact, right? Like if you research the Bosnian pyramids, you'll see what I mean, right? Giza's tiny in comparison. Again, and I think Giza is about emulation because they give off pretty much like what 5G is going to be doing now. Radiation to manipulate matter. So you can read this you like, carry on. More information. And so this was also about understanding not volcanoes as such, but the underworld as well, and how there's mythology related to as above, so below, the entrance to the let's call it hell, Hades, right, as they say. So the volcano, as mythological motif, belongs to a large network of images known as the Axis Mundi group. According to scholars of the history of religion, people of widely different cultures have believed that there is a world axis located at the center of the earth, which is marked by a cosmic mountain. Mount Muru of South Asian mythology, Mount Harabarazati of Iranian mythology, and Mount Himnabjur of Scandinavian mythology, all by a cosmic tree. Right? Kiskana of Babylonian mythology and Yggdrasil of Scandinavian mythology, the cosmic mountain or tree situated at the hub of the world. And obviously the Babylonians got their stuff from the Sumerians, right? They spoke Sumerian. They spoke Babylonian, but they writ in Sumerian. The cosmic mountain or tree situated at the hub of the world vertically intersects and thereby connects the three basic cosmic domains: on the world, earth, and heaven. Trinity. So there's another important number in the number 3 and how it relates to us. Right? Mind, body, and soul. The roots of the cosmic mountain or tree sink deep into the ground, where primal energies are austere and gods and spirits of the underworld reside, and the upper reaches of the mountain or tree extend to the highest point on earth. I was talking about the tree, right? Tree of the earth. Where the mundane realm gives way to the realm of celestial gods and spirits. I have a proposal as well about what really the stars are, not the fixed ones, but the other ones that go around us. They could be spirits, right? They could be light, it could be energy, right? Just in the heavens, floating around us, watching, waiting. Just a fairy, right? Not all of them. There's obviously there's other things going on in the heavens with the celestial bodies, let's call them. And thus, connecting the three cosmic domains, the Axis Mundi is a channel through which the powers or beings of any one of these realms can pass into any other realm, any of the realms, which otherwise are separate spheres of existence. 3 realms. 3 domes, perhaps. Such a passage from one cosmic domain to another is what historians of religion, Mircea Eliade, called a rupture of plane, a rent in the fabric of being that allows the powers native to one domain briefly to manifest themselves in another. According to the Axis Mundi cosmology, teleportation, right, they may be talking about here. They could be talking about portals and time gates or whatever, stargates. According to the Axis Mundi cosmology, any super rupture of a cosmic plane is only an isolated or temporary opening and not a removal of the plane, except for the point that opens. The Axis Mundi channeled, the plane remains intact, and except for what passes through the opening from one cosmic domain to the next. The domains remain separate worlds. You see, the demons they got their own world, and they want to come into ours, right? They have been coming into ours. They want a body as well. They want to desecrate the human body by putting a demon inside it. Allowing technologies to take you over. So the Axis Mundi is the only channel connecting otherwise disconnected worlds. In the volcano analogy, the vent of the volcano is the axis mundi, and the smoke and fire indicate that a rupture of plane has occurred, allowing force of the underworld to enter the world above. The volcano has not yet erupted, and so the underground realm of molten rock remains hidden from view. But then we're going to have to talk about the vents of creation, right, as well, and what each vent does and how that helps create the atmosphere, and then how the wind drives the system, right, which is based on sacred geometry. I mean, like I said the other day, this stuff is extremely complicated for people that have just started looking at the things they need to look at. And I'll leave this book in the description. Embodied spirituality in the sacred world. There's a lot of information to know, you know. Here's another one, the Purans, Volume 2. The world is divided into 7 regions. Their names are whatever. The 7 Dvipas are surrounded by 7 oceans, and the names are, these oceans are Lavana, da 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 da. Right in the center of Jambudvipa is Mount Muru. Mountains named Hivana, are to the south of Muru. These ones are to the north. So we can verify these things, by the way, if we look at what ancient maps. When were they made? What names do we see on the maps? And then relate to this knowledge. And they go, well, therefore that had to have been created in whatever. They say the 16th century. But then when you look at the dating of what we believe, a lot of the ones are J's. You know, in the year of J. So therefore it's a lie. We can never know the time we live in, really. Under the earth is the underworld. This too consists of 7 regions in their names of blah blah blah. The Daityas and the Danavas live in the underworld. Vishnu is also there in the underworld in his form of the great snake Shesha. The snake Shesha holds up the earth on its hood. The part of the sky which is lit up by the sun rays is known as Nabha. Above the earth is the sun. Above the sun is the sun, the moon. Above the moon, the stars. Above the stars, Mercury. Above Mercury, Venus. Above Venus, Jupiter. And above Jupiter, the constellations of the Great Bear. Beyond this constellation is the world of Dhruva. You can read this if you like. I just thought this is interesting. I've got spirits touching me, whacking me in the head. I see an orb just go straight across straight in front of me. Vedic Mount Muru and infinite flat earth. And this is a forum, and there's a lot of stuff in there, and you find a lot of information in forums. So I thought I'll put that link in there if you're interested. This was an art show. We've almost done now. We've almost finished this video. We've got one more tab. And we're done. There was this art show in 2019 exhibition, and they called it Mount Muru and the mustard seeds, and it's not bloody loading. Okay, since this one's loaded. Earth may be at the centre of the universe. Sloan Digital Sky Survey and the Planck satellite confirm the Copernican model of the universe may be faulty. I've showed you this. Sacred geometry. The universe rotates around a stationary Earth, which is not forever expanding, because the stars are fixed for thousands of years. I mean, you've got to do is look at the lunar module, right, and see that it's got tape and cardboard and coat hangers on it. It's a joke. You think that way to the moon? They have been to the moon, by the way. This is what its 2 light sources on, and it's much brighter today. Again, it's massive contradiction because it's bleeding in low Earth orbit, not a rock, but a piece of technology in which they're emulating in their own way. Perhaps they do, because we got to bear in mind is in it, and I haven't shown this in the videos, but there's the evidence is out there if you know what you're listening for, and particularly in the ancient literature, is that there was wars over a space station, right? And that space station got destroyed and moved to where is now modern day Israel. Isn't that interesting? So there's been wars over the space station, and it's happening again. They took control of the ancient space station, is what I'm trying to say, in Israel, and we took part in that, Britain, by putting the suffering Jews in there after, fulfilling prophecy. 50 years. Is this loaded? Yeah. Try again. It did load. So the 7 rings of Mordor. Maybe it wasn't talking about physical rings. Dwarfs, 7 dwarfs got given rings. It's not loaded. Maybe that's about 7 rings of water, 7 seas. You can sail the 7 seas, right? Perhaps the 7 seas is actually to do with Atlantis, the Earth itself, not actually a one location, but the acknowledgement of the 7 rings and of the waters below and how they correlate to the waters above. Till next time, please share, like and subscribe.